it's me, Erica, and so today I'm going to be talking about Idolish 7. So, you can probably tell by the title, I don't know what I titled this, but this is kind of my analysis of why Idolish 7 was so enjoyable and very different from the idol genre that there's been multiple animes about, and I just recently watched it. I've been putting it off because of its things such as like an idol anime, like the genre that it was put in. I was kind of weary about trying it out because of the other idol anime I've watched, which really haven't met my expectations, but Idolish 7 has surpassed it, and mainly this is a video for me to say now I'm in the Idolish 7 fandom, but also for you guys to go ahead and watch it if you've been kind of hesitant about it, because I found really good things about it that I wanted to share with you that I feel like is interesting. And if you're kind of on the fence of whether or not to watch it because of its genre kind of title, I'm here to kind of say go watch it. So with that, I will now get to my points on why you should watch Idolish 7. So the first reason is there's no romance whatsoever between the main character, that's a girl, and then also the guys. So this is one of the biggest ones that I was kind of putting off because I've seen so many animes where it is kind of shown as a reverse harem, and it's very obvious that the girl does not have a backbone and is very plain, and somehow all the guys seem to like her, and that's not the thing with Idolish 7. It is very professional, and what's really cool is that their manager Smoothie actually has character development also in the story, and the relationship she has with the guys that she's managing is very platonic. They're more friends than they are lovers. I think the biggest comparison probably for this is like Utsuno Prince Sama, where the girl who is in Utsuno Prince Sama, Nanami, all the guys that she ends up writing music for like her, and she doesn't have anything to like about except for music. I don't know. I mean, I love Utsuno Prince Sama and the characters and the songs, but the animes just don't do it for me because Nanami is so unlikable. But then again, I have to preface that Idolish 7 is based off a rhythm game such as Love Live, as opposed to Utsuno Prince Sama or something like Dance with Devils, which is based on an otome game. So the main character, who's the girl, has to be plain because you're supposed to like transfer your thoughts into her, but I feel like Smoothie in 17 episodes got more character development than Nanami did in 4 seasons. So the number 2 reason why I think Idolish 7 is really cool too is that there's so much character development that is not episodic. And what I mean by that is that with a lot of anime such as Utsuno Prince Sama, Dance with Devils, Tsuki Yuta, B Project, a lot of the characters are underdeveloped. If not, they have that one episode where they're the main focus of the band. But after that episode, it feels like that's all they're ever gonna get. So in comparison to Utsuno Prince Sama, each person that she ends up having a romantic relationship with has that dedicated episode, like the episode of Tokia, the episode of Masato. But that does not really exist in Idolish 7. Yes, there are episodes that have some characters that are kind of the main focus of the episode, such as like, for example, Yamato and his drama starring days, but it feels like after that it generalizes to the other members because the main focus of the episode is not just Yamato, but how the members react to Yamato being part of that. So it like kind of generalizes there, as opposed to some of the other anime where it feels like they're just stuck in the episode and they never mentioned it again, as opposed to Idolish 7, where all the members actually get to interact with each other and you see how much they develop into who they are. Even the rival band of Trigger, who is the rival band for Idolish 7, they have more character development than some of the rival bands in other animes such as Utsuno Prince Sama. So I really like that continuous aspect of each episode really correlating together and involving all the other characters as opposed to really focusing and pinpointing that one character for that one episode, and it's never mentioned again. Number 3, which I found really cool about Idolish 7, was that it follows some of the fans of Idolish 7. I don't specifically know their names, and I don't even think that they mention the names in the anime, but it is really cool that you see these 3 fans. One of them is an older kind of fan, which is like, you know, kind of college student adult life, and the other 2 are like the high schoolers, so like some the geographic. I found that really cool because you see their emotions, and I feel like I could see myself reacting to them in that way, because the 2 high school girls, they found out about Idolish 7 really early on, and then they saw them improve, and one of the girls can even like see how the band kind of acts when they're not their best, and I thought that was like really cool because sometimes we notice that too as fans of either any music stars, like, oh yeah, that wasn't their best performance, but you should watch this, and we try to kind of have other people make them like that band, which was really prevalent with that high school girl, where she tried to get her sister and her mom into getting into Idolish 7. So I thought that was a cool aspect. And there was also another fan interaction that I'll talk about later in the next point I'm going to mention, but it's more of like the negative fan reaction. The last reason, that is kind of multiple reasons because of the kind of things I'm going to say of why you should watch Idolish 7, is because it is kind of true to the entertainment business. I'm not expert of it, but I'm just pulling information from being a fan of both K-pop before and then J-pop, and how these idols come to be, and also some of the interactions that these fans are having with their idols. And this is where I kind of hit into spoiler territory, because I might be focusing on some big points in some episodes. So the first point I would like to point out is that Idolish 7 started as trainees, and then they were picked together, and then they debuted. With the J-pop and K-pop industry, it's very not industrialized, but it's very managed, as opposed to the US, where it's more like, oh, you get discovered by some music company, or you go onto the show and then you get discovered. In there, it's more like, you want to be a star, okay, join this company, you're gonna train, and then when I think you're good enough, you're gonna be put in a band, and you possibly may debut. This happens mainly with like Johnny's Entertainment, where they group Johnny trainees, and then from the Johnny trainees, they say, okay, you're gonna be this group, we're gonna debut you as Katoon, or we're gonna debut you as News. Same thing goes for K-pop trainees, in where they have lots of people trained. Some of them never get to go to that K-pop idol status, but they're grouped together and they're like, okay, you're gonna debut as Twice, you're gonna debut as BTS. But sometimes in these debut groups, some people don't debut with them. They might be in that one video and they're like, oh yeah, you don't really pass our needs, so you're gonna get kicked out of the group. Which I feel like what happened in Idolish 7, and where Sumugi has to choose which idols to keep as a debut group for Idolish 7. I thought that was pretty cool because that does happen with these trainees. Another thing I also liked about the anime was that a lot of the anime has them doing other things but music. So sometimes they're in the variety shows, or sometimes they're doing dramas, sometimes they're doing commercials, sometimes they're doing modeling, and they're not always together as Idolish 7. Sometimes you have Nagi doing the modeling, you have Yamato doing the drama, you have Iori and Riku doing a TV show appearance. And that is pretty much true in the entertainment business in Japan and Korea, where they're just not singers, they're not musicians, as opposed to here, where you're a musician here, most of the time you're kind of pigeonholed to just musician. You might appear a few times in some other kind of works, but most of the time you're a musician. As opposed to there, you're an idol, so it's not that you're just a magician, not a magician, a musician. You are also doing a lot of other things, and sometimes you're not even going to see your fellow members, which happen. Which I've seen in other kind of idol animes in like Suki Pro and B Project, but I feel like it was very naturalistic in this environment of Idolish 7 as opposed to B Project or Sukiuta, which I felt like it was done so that they didn't have to focus on those characters. But here it just feels like it's a part of the environment as opposed to a throwaway where like I don't want to deal with these characters for this episode, so we'll just put them into like the CM that we're not going to focus on. The rivals of Idolish 7 and Trigger, they're friendly rivals. They're not the rivals like, okay, we're gonna beat you for sure because we're the mean group, and so you're gonna beat us because we're mean, as opposed to talent-wise, which I feel like sometimes is the point of idol animes where it's like, it's so repetitive because you always want the main group to win because the other idol group is hella mean. You want that other group, the main group that you like, to win, and that just doesn't always happen in entertainment. Like most of the times bands are friends with other bands, and it doesn't matter which one is up the top and which on the bottom. So I appreciate that Trigger and Idolish 7 are just friendly rivals. Going on to that fan thing I was mentioning before, there was a point in Idolish 7 where I was like, wow, in one of the episodes, Idolish 7 performed a Trigger song because Trigger's company did not want them to perform, and Idolish 7 took the beating from Trigger fans, saying like they wanted Trigger to perform, but by the end of it, they were happy that Idolish 7 performed. And I feel like that does happen with some fans that they're like, why did this band perform? I didn't want them. I only came to see Trigger, or I only came to see so-and-so. And I feel like that does happen in a lot of bands, even here. But like, I only came to watch the I only watched the American Music Awards because BTS was on there, or I only watched Good Morning America because Blackpink was on there. And when they're not there, sometimes you're kind of like, oh, then it's not worth my time watching. By doing that, I feel like it makes Idolish 7 more three-dimensional in the aspects of the world, as opposed to really just focusing on how they live their lives. It feels more personable. It also talks about fans that are very obsessive. And I don't know the word for it in Japanese, how they address those fans, but I do know the word for it in Korean, which is saseng. So in one of the episodes, a really obsessive fan of Tamaki says that he knows, or she knows, where his sister is. And of course she's lying because she wants to get him alone in this room and then for him to kiss her. And he gets really mad because he said that, why is his fans like this? Why are their fans like this? I hate my fans. And I thought, even though it wasn't a big part of the anime, I thought that was very like, whoa, like I've never seen that happen before in an anime. I've always like seen that when it was like, you know, when people write like fanfic and that's like the main story point for some reason. But I've never seen an anime do that, which was like really surprising to me that they addressed that. So I think I was cut off. But the entertainment businesses in this anime, there's two different companies. There's Takanashi, which is where Idol 7 is from, and there's Yatome Productions, where Trigger is from. And Takanashi focuses more on creative aspects, and they're more free in a sense, as opposed to Yatome, where it's more, they're seen as money bags. So Trigger, in that sense, they're easily replaceable. Their president even says they're easily replaceable. You do what I say, because if not, you're out of a job, you're not an idol anymore. And I feel like that does happen in idol industry, and I can only think of it in K-pop terms because a lot of the time, a lot of K-pop bands make headliner news in that a lot of the time they leave the company because they're not happy with how they're treated. Such as how a few members left EXO because they did not agree with how the company was treating them. Or a whole band like BAP leaves their company because they don't like how their company is treating them. Or like, if you're a really OG K-pop fan, how DBSK split into two groups because 3 members did not want to resign their contract because they were done with dealing with a company that does not give them anything. That's what I thought was pretty cool about that aspect in Idolish 7, is that there are 2 different types of companies. My actual last point is that a lot of the idols are exhausted. And you can see this in Kujo 10 in the second episode of the anime, where he just got out of the hospital. Even though he was sick, he performed. And if he performed without even telling his fans or even looking sick. And I feel like that does happen too, because there's a lot of YouTube videos, if you just search up K-pop idol exhausted faints on stage, it does happen. We put a lot of pressure on these idols to do that, and they want to please their fans, and they also want to please the company they're in. In the later parts of Idolish 7, a lot of them are tired too. Not just Kujo 10. You can see in the later episodes that a lot of the Idolish 7 characters are getting more busy, and because they're busy, they're all tired and they're all angry. And I found that really entertaining about Idolish 7 is that you're not just getting very good development in the sense of the boys that are inside Idolish 7, but also a greater understanding of some of the realities what come with in the entertainment business. So I thought it was a really cool anime. Very different from what a typical idol anime you would expect to be. Idolish 7 is not really limited to just girls, but just everyone who wants to learn more just about the entertainment businesses, with also learning a lot about the characters. So if you like this video, send this to the person that's kind of on the fence about watching Idolish 7. So with that, thank you so much you guys for watching, and see you next time. Bye!